Welcome to the Live Bright Show, the pod for badass service-based entrepreneurs who are creating businesses and lives that are fun, successful, and free. And now your host, seven-figure business owner, coach, and founder of the Live Bright movement, here to help you own your potential, Molly Moran.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Live Bright Show. I am so excited to have Stephanie Pipkin with me today. Stephanie is the owner of Serene Clean. She's a business consultant. She's a podcaster of the Filthy Rich podcast, which is a fantastic podcast. She's a dog mom. She's a cat mom. She's a foodie. She loves to eat out. She's a volunteer. She's a world traveler, and she is bright AF. Welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Thank you, Miss Molly. I am so excited to be here.
Yeah, God, your background is gorgeous. Will you tell us a little bit about, there's probably more listeners than viewers at this point, but tell us about your background. It's so cool.
Yes, ma'am. I installed all of this paneling, hand-painted the ginkgo leaves with a cool ombre, put some gold foil on it. I have a very colorful house, colorful tattoos, all of it.
Yes,
so
right.
I think we definitely vibe when it comes to like personality and just being over the top a bit.
I think so. I mean, you are, and bright. Let's just go with bright.
Bright. That's a good way to put it. Yes.
Will you tell me about what's a ginkgo flower?
So
Does
a
that
ginkgo leaf
mean
is
something?
ginkgo leaf. Actually, my earrings are that too. It's kind of, I have them all over my house. It's a Japanese plant, I believe, and typically it is either gifted or represents like wisdom and a lot of positive things in life. Ginkgo plants can survive in very difficult scenarios. So I just find it a good representation of, overcoming challenges.
It's like the lotus flower or something,
Yes,
maybe a little
exactly.
bit. But okay,
Mhm.
very cool, very cool. I was like, there's got to be some symbolism that is like,
And they're just
meaningful to
pretty.
you. And they're just pretty. They are very pretty too. They are very pretty. So Stephanie, for those of you who don't know her, you want to know her. She is a rising star. Her star has risen. I don't know, but in the house cleaning industry, and she's had a ton of success, not only as a business owner, but as a consultant. And like I said, with the podcast that she has, Filthy Rich Cleaners. So I would love to start, because you've got so many things going on. Tell us about the most fun you've had in business in the last year.
Oh gosh, the most fun I've had. I mean, probably going to Barcelona with the ZenMade team. I advised them on different features coming out, and they brought the whole team out to Barcelona, and that was just so fun. And really, has lit the travel bug in me. And going to Amsterdam the previous year with them, so I've just been really enjoying. I was raised in a very protective, strict household. So if you travel, you're definitely gonna die. It was kind of like how I was raised. So this has been really exciting for me to discover, like, I really like this, and it's been very, very enjoyable. From a business perspective, I think that we have just added so much to the staff benefits and really going deeper on what we can be as an employer and being as attractive as possible as an employer. And so that has been incredibly gratifying and rewarding to me from that side of things.
Yeah, I bet. And we're gonna get into that for sure. I'd love to know, because everyone's got such a different story. How did you end up deciding to start a house cleaning company?
Well, cold hard cash, Molly. I needed money. So I had, I had waitressed from the age of 14 all the way to, I believe, 21. And I'd moved to a new town where there wasn't good waitressing options. I paid my way through college. I just got an associate's in marketing. I started working for my family's company as their office manager, and I needed a second job. So I was like, I like to clean. Let me do cleaning on nights and weekends. And I quickly realized nobody wants their house clean on nights and weekends, but I was working my full-time job, and I ended up stumbling across Melissa Maker's course that she was having, because I was a big fan of Melissa Maker and Clean My Space. Her YouTube channel has always been amazing. And she was running a course on how to open a cleaning business. And serendipitously, it was right when I was thinking about it. And so I took that course, learned the basics, and pretty much I started in April 2019. I started hiring in June of 2019, and we were off to the races, just with part-timers, of course, but it just exploded, honestly.
Wow, that's awesome. What do you attribute the explosion to?
Well, I think I had a lot of good groundworks and foundations. So when it comes to me as a person, I would say it was a bit of a trifecta. So we have an associate's in marketing degree. We have this customer service and fast-paced side of things from waitressing for so long and being able to handle many things at once. And then finally being the office manager at my parents' company, which was a manufacturing business, I learned all the back end, the bookkeeping, the not sexy stuff about running a business. And so I really attribute these three areas to that, along with the things I learned in Melissa's course. Spoiler, she doesn't offer it anymore. But some of those foundational things that made it really explode, utilizing cleaning checklists from day one. I actually did 10 free cleanings for influencers in our area, if you will, stay-at-home moms, for an exchange for a review. And the word of mouth really started growing. And I also did not expect to get into commercial, but we got into commercial, and commercial actually is 50% of our revenue. And so we are huge on commercial. So literally split down the middle. We hit both. I got some large manufacturing facilities in that first year, right going into COVID. I got some big boys that are still with us today. And so a lot of things aligned very, very well, I would say.
That's awesome. I mean, that's so interesting to hear you describe it as a trifecta, because I mean, when you look at, or I should say, when I was looking at you online, I'm like, girl's got her marketing dialed in. So that
branding and
totally
marketing is like, I just have always been very drawn to it. The Serene Clean brand is very clear as to what exactly we're trying to portray. And I think branding is so incredibly important. And it is a bit of a slow burn, right? You're not going to just get a customer right away. But I want every interaction that somebody stumbles across Serene Clean in any iteration to just hit them across the face. Like, this is who we are. This is what we can do for you. This is how we're special, right? And so I've just always been very drawn to it. And side note, Serene Clean was born in Black River Falls, Wisconsin, which is a town of 5,000 people. So I literally didn't open my second location in Sparta, which is 10,000 people, until 2 years in. And by that time, we were already, pushing 1 million a year. So it can be done in a rural area.
That's okay. So people listening to this, she hit $1 million in revenue with all, like, residential basically, or
no, it was commercial too. It was both.
Both.
Yeah.
But population 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's and 50% of that was residential, would you say?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's amazing. That's awesome. So yeah, you are, proof is in the pudding. That's great, because it's so funny, because even people in bigger markets are like, I might be tapped out. I'm like, you're only at like,
oh my gosh, it's only going to grow.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to get more creative with your marketing or whatever, the relationships that you're building. So that's awesome. What's been most surprising to you as in your cleaning company in particular, as you've grown that?
I think just the level of tenacity it truly takes when it comes to specifically the staffing side of things. I think that that's where most of us are going to struggle heavily, is just staying optimistic because of the constant, turnover, and I would say just general disappointment. It's not surprising to me why so many people quit, because it is very hard. But I also am surprised by how many, I guess this sounds bad, how many good people are out there who love this work. Like obviously they want to make good money and they want to be treated well, but they really like this. And so it is a great fit for a lot of people from a job perspective.
It is. Okay. So what have you done? You talked in the beginning a little bit about some of that, like you rolled out a bunch of benefits, and I know you pay really well. So what have you done to increase retention and that kind of stuff with your employees?
Yeah, and I'm very lucky. My management team, I have 3 full-time managers, and they all have been with me for, I think, 4, 5, and 6 years. So Crystal's actually my longest employee, and she's my HR director now. They all started as part-time cleaners. And so I literally started at, $12 an hour right back in the day. And that was pre-COVID times, right? And so I couldn't offer a good pay because I wasn't charging enough. What I could offer was an extreme flexibility, right? All of my staff, 99% of them are women. Almost all of them are mothers. And so we have a playroom in our office. We will watch our cleaners' children if they, school calls out or there's a 2-hour delay for snow or whatever.
Wow.
So yeah, they can literally drop their kids off in the office. And we'll take care of things there so that they can make it to work. So family first is one of our core values. And I truly try to live by our core values in everything that we do in the business. And so being that our best staff members are most likely going to be a parent, how can we work with that? And even to the point of our attendance policy, they get dinged for sure, but maybe not like other places, right? Because we just know it is what it is. We want you to be able to show up and do quality work and follow policy and things like that. But we just don't ding their raises that much if they call in a lot. Again, we need to be consistent for our clients, but as for, just always being focused on adding more benefits where I can. We do have a pretty robust benefits package, I believe, that makes us pretty competitive as an employer. So 401k with company match, the health insurance. We have EAP, which is Employee Assistance Program, which is free therapy for all of our staff members and their immediate families. That has been critical the past couple of years because we're all a bunch of nutcases. So it's been great to have therapy for everybody, and and including myself. And let's see what else we have. Bereavement leave. We have PTO. We have holiday pay. We have a car care benefit. So just trying to really take a look at like what sucks about this job. Well, they have to have their own vehicle. They got to drive a lot sometimes. Yeah. So how can we kind of hit it head on and just really address it? But we do group interviews. We've always done group interviews since I think a year in, and that's what's allowed me to keep up with the turnover is always having a plethora of options.
Yes. Let me ask you, because I know other people listening are going to have this. What is your car care package benefit? What is that?
So basically, I'm curious, so we do, we give them a mileage stipend, basically, that's on a tiered model. So the further they drive for work purposes, the more they're going to get paid for that. Then they're also paid for their time, of course. We pay them at a lower rate than their cleaning rate, of course, because they're just driving.
Windshield time.
And then they can get reimbursed for anything that they are doing up to a certain point. Like I think part-timers get a certain amount and full-timers get a certain amount a year, and they can just submit their anything car related for maintenance, like oil changes, tires, whatever, and we'll reimburse up to a certain amount. So it's just a couple $100 a month, but it's again, instead of just pushing it under the rug it's like saying, we know that we're asking you to use your personal vehicle, so let's help with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Stephanie. Before we started recording, we were talking a little bit about the fact that you run your business off of the profit first model, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you do that and have this massively robust benefits package? Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have followed profit first from day one, and we keep it pretty simple. So I still just have OpEx, operating expenses, where everything is coming out of. And it really is because of the scale we're at that we have that leftover in order to do that. So making sure we're doing pricing audits every single year on every single client, residential and commercial. We're kind of tapped out, I think, in our market. We actually charge hourly still for residential. We're at 55 per man hour for residential for all new clients. And we've been there for a while. And I do feel that that's probably top range for our area. Maybe we could push it a little higher, but I'm pleased with that. So based off of that, once you start to get to this size, you have enough overhead left over in order to do that. And frankly, Stephanie doesn't pay herself as much as I could in order. I the way I see it is like, I'm not going to step over $1 to pick up a dime, meaning I don't want to lose more people because that costs me money in the long run. I want this to be, I have my time freedom. I live across the country from my business. It runs itself pretty much, it feels like. So I am glad to, give a little more for that.
You trade a little bit of your profit to increase your, I've made some similar decisions in my cleaning company as well. Especially when we rolled out health insurance, I was like, well, I have a really good life. I have a lot of freedom, like some very similar things to what you're saying. And I also believe that charity not that it's charity because it's a benefit, but it begins at home. So why wouldn't I want to take care of my people before I then go take care of a whole bunch of other random people, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you just touched upon something. You are across country and you don't live where your business is. Congratulations on being able to make that move. How often do you go back to your company, and what kind of challenges do you feel like you have because you're not up close and in it every single day?
So I've been remote for darn near 3 years now. I've lived in Georgia, and I go back about 2 to 3 times a year. I'll be going back for the company Christmas party. Every year I go back for that. I usually go back in the spring/summertime, and we do a big highway pickup because we have Adopt a Highway. So anytime I go back, we typically correspond that with the Adopt a Highway pickups that we do. So I can be involved, do a company cookout, whatever. Yeah. So yes. And really, truly, there is no need from a work perspective to do that. That's peer culture, yes. See my staff, those are my friends, and hang out with them. So it's a great time. Honestly, no work gets done if I'm there. I'm the biggest distraction. I'm like, let's go get Mexican food and margaritas, guys. Let's not work. So.
Totally.
And when it comes to what has struggled, the reason that this worked, we kind of prototyped it almost because about 2.5 years into the business, maybe 3 years, I can't remember exactly what year, we got a huge job. Basically, when the Afghan refugees got brought over to America and placed at different military bases all over the United States, our local military base took 15,000 of them. And I was one of the subcontractors on that job. So for 6 months, 7 days a week, I was physically there, and the business had to basically run without me because that's where I was. And so that showed us, including the entire management team, Stephanie doesn't have to be in the office every day. It kind of really shifted our entire perspective of, whoa, like this can work in this way. And we're really testing all the systems and stuff. I would say it was an adjustment for my longer cleaners. They didn't care for it, of like, they didn't understand, like what, because they didn't know what my role was. And the fact that I was already pretty much removed from the operations, they were just seeing me more. So culture was the biggest, I say, effect. And so how I circumvent that is just making sure I'm heavily involved digitally. And so running the team meetings every week from here, I do that. I'm making sure to, touch base with them in Slack. On our employee anniversaries, I handle everything to do with, I guess, appreciating them. So I'll either make a complete AI custom song about them from me, or I will make a cartoon through ChatGPT of all of their favorite things and them, and I'll send it to them. So I try to be really connected to them as much as I can, but I don't manage them. Like, that's not my job. And so, especially with newer folks, they don't know any different. It was just an adjustment for the people who'd been here longer.
Right. That's great. So when you're there every day, it obviously is really different than when you're remote. So I hear the things that you're doing. What's your team doing to make sure your standards and stuff are being maintained?
Yeah, high levels of communication as well as appreciation. I would say that a culture of appreciation, obviously, as you know, is the best way to go about it. I mean, just any opportunity that we can call them out in front of both their peers, but also publicly and individually, privately, it's like a 3-layer thing because it just makes them feel so good. So we are constantly looking for positive feedback and sharing it publicly, privately, and within the team. I would also say that we have such a culture of giving and adding purpose to the work that makes us all feel like we're on a mission, right? Because we are. And so for those examples would be, from the beginning, I have had a monthly, basically, charitable giving fund or budget, so that an employee chooses each month. So it will message and be like, hey, it's your turn to choose a local charity Serene Clean will donate to. And then we highlight that to the staff as well as the community. And then we're actually doing those donations. So for 6 years, we've been donating every single month to a charity of their choice. That's one of them. We also have a cleaning nomination program outside of Cleaning for a Reason, of course, which we're a member of, where anybody can nominate anybody for a free cleaning. And if we have the availability, we'll go do free cleanings, and just making sure that they know that those are free, and that really gives them a really great sense of purpose. We have a spin the wheel where they are able to, that's another benefit, is they basically can qualify and they get to spin the wheel in the office, and it has all of these fabulous prizes on it. And yeah, so I think really fun. Like, I mean, if most people had never been to a team meeting like ours, I would say, where they're like, wow, I can't believe they're talking about this. So I would say we have a really casual, playful culture that reflects me and my personality, frankly, because that's what I want. Like, I like fun. And however, all on the bedrock of quality, all on the bedrock of like, we are really fucking good at what we do. I mean, we have a less than 0.4% complaint rate over the past 4 years as I've been tracking it. We've gone 12 weeks several times this year with 0 complaints, right? With, hundreds of appointments a week. So like, because we have this foundation and that pride of like, we're really good at what we do, it allows you to relax into the fun. Because when things are going badly, it's hard to have fun because things are going, like you're not doing good work, right? So we're just really proud of what we do.
That's awesome. Wow. That's so great. I think for sure, and we've talked about it, that I feel like once owners start to step back, it's like they've got to have a plan in place, and it can't just be reliant on a manager or whatever. You've got to have a real plan in place to make sure things are happening the way you are. So great job doing that. What's been one of the sort of harder lessons you've had to learn in business? And I don't know if you have if you had any kind of massive ahas that came out of that. Is there anything there that you could share?
I think that my emotional state is probably going to be one of the biggest hurdles to get across and manage as a leader, and that my biggest regrets in business all have to do with me being reactive or not being able to control myself in the moment, especially if I'm being done wrong, right? And I feel very justified in my reaction. It's like, it doesn't matter. And I think the faster I can get over that initial like reaction is when we can put our logical thinking brains on. And so one of my biggest lessons is just, you know, looking back. I was just talking to my best friend about this, of like, you know, unanswered prayers are kind of like the thing, like you want that to happen, right? We were talking about a song that had lyrics in it. And I reflected on the business of, thank goodness all of those bad things happen in the moment. So I guess what I would say is, I wish I could go back and tell myself at every iteration of shit going just terribly, I could have been like, you were going to, like, this is good. This needs to happen, because if it didn't happen, you wouldn't put this in place. Like, we need those bad mistakes and learning opportunities to occur. Otherwise, we're never going to learn. Like, you can listen to all the podcasts you want, but until you get burned, you're not going to learn.
Right. Unfortunately, I know, I'm like, I learned the hard way on my own terms. Like, that's how it goes, right? I heard that that's a problem, but I decided
I need to experience it myself. Like, I know you told me the pan is hot, but let me just go ahead and touch it.
Hey friend, a quick break to ask you to please go to livebrightshow.com to be added to my email list. Here's the thing. I hate email, so I pretty much guarantee you're not going to receive anything excessive. Only important things, like when I have new options in my coaching program, offer free challenges, new courses, release a new pod, or perhaps an occasional biz life tip. That's livebrightshow.com. Now back to the pod.
You've grown this cleaning company. You've been working remotely for a couple of years. You've grown a podcast. You're now doing some business consulting. You're consulting with ZenMaid. You've got a lot of things going on. So congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you organize yourself, and how do you maintain your like brightness, really, truly, like, so that you can keep all these balls in the air?
Yeah, I have an absolutely fantastic, genius executive assistant that really changed the game for me, of really delegating so many things that I was doing administratively that did not have to be me. So literally my entire inbox, Veronica is managing, and just so many, I really, you know, the book, what's it called? Why can't I think of it?
Buy Back Your Time.
Yes, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. Yes. So that book I was recommended by some colleagues, and I listened to it, and I immediately went on the hunt for an executive assistant. This was, I think we've been working together for a year now. So that really changed the game for me, because so much of my energy was getting really dragged down by these very important things, but just not the things that I should be doing, right? And so that has really opened the door for me to really bring my full presence, staying bright, staying lively, because when you're podcasting, when you're meeting with people, you want to be the most like attentive, energetic version of yourself. And I found that all of that stuff was really dragging me down. And again, it has to get done, but it doesn't mean that I need to be doing it, right? Or that I need to do the majority of it. I'll still, you know, be the last touch point on a lot of different areas. However, it's not going to be me drafting those emails or whatever. So that has really helped. I would say outside of that, you know, just finding a lot of purpose, and just, gosh, it sounds so cliche, but I'm so grateful, because every time, you know, I'm talking with an owner, or we're getting the feedback on the podcast of like, hey, this is helping me. It's like, that just fuels me so much. I'm like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm really big on impact. And once there's nothing more exciting than once you start to think about the impact that we as owners can have, because compared to being just an employee somewhere, we can have so much impact on our community, on our customers, and on our employees, right? It's these multiple areas that we have these ripple effects on by being a great employer, being a great company in your community that gives, and then providing a damn good service. Like, there is so much reward in that to hold on to. But then you take me taking that to kind of the next level of, okay, now I'm teaching other owners how to do this. And so now I'm affecting all of their communities, and you know, not to sound like a total narcissist or like anything, but it's like, that's what makes me so excited of like, this is what I was supposed to be doing, and I can help more people this way, because that's what I want. And so I find a lot of pride in that, obviously. And then just, you know, outside of my life, I mean, trying to be really physically active. I know that, you know, fitness is a thing for you, and it definitely that makes me feel so good, is taking care of myself. It's definitely something I didn't do in the beginning of the business. I just ran myself into the ground and was obsessive and psychotic for that time. And so really taking care of myself, I'm just a social butterfly. I want to be around people. I love, animals. I love volunteering at the cat shelter down the street from me. So yeah, just I'm trying to have a lot more of a balanced, holistic life. There was no balance in the beginning. I was an absolute psycho.
Yeah. You're very hard on yourself. I think many of us were very imbalanced in the beginning of our businesses, and
Yeah.
because you're in survival mode though too.
Yes.
You're like, I'm building something. I need to make some money. You've got bills to pay. There's so much happening then. So
Yeah.
right. I think I love that. So you're not a psycho anymore. Is that what you're telling us?
I don't think so. I've always been drawn to extremes, and that's been a bit of my personality. So I'm really trying to enjoy the in between and not being so externally like goal oriented, if that makes sense, because it needed to be like that in the beginning to get it. And now I have the luxury of being able to relax and being like,
Yeah.
it's okay. Like, we're in it for the long run, right? We're in here for a long time and a good time. Like,
Yes. Yes. And for the record, people who are not listening, like Stephanie's really young,
I'm 29.
29. Well, she's 29 and look at this. Like, I'm like, holy crap. You've got time. I mean, and so I'm so glad that you're just, like I said, your star is rising. It's risen. It's going to keep going higher because you've got so much going for you. So
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. So with that balance and all those sorts of things, what helps you on the hardest days? Because of course, like you still have very hard days. Because I don't even know you personally very well, obviously, but like we all have them. It's so what keeps you bouncing back and like wanting more on those really hard days where you run into like a massive staff issue or whatever it might be?
Yeah, we called the summer jokingly like Armageddon because we had such terrible turnover. I mean, and just very kind of bizarre situations happening, even with long-term staff, where surprising new challenges and flavors were being thrown at us every week, and we're just like, what the fuck is going on? That was literally us every week this summer, and it was really demoralizing. And I think just I had to constantly remind my managers and myself of like, all we can control is the actions that we are doing. We cannot control the outcome. We are doing everything that we should be doing. We are doing like, we've revamped our training. We've poured all of these things into it. We're checking in, and so just when shit's going badly, it's like, obviously you need to like, is something like, just all we can control is what we are doing every single day, and not allowing that negative energy and that cynicism to infiltrate our brains. Right. And even, for example, the government shutdown, our largest commercial account is a federal research facility. It's $11,000 a month that I have made many decisions based on that money, right? Because it's a 5-year contract. And so never, when I got this contract, did I even anticipate this. So like our overhead, like, things have been really lean the past couple months. And it's been just trying to be like, okay, every shutdown ends. The contract, like just stating the facts really helps me, literally putting the facts on paper of like, these are the facts of the matter. This is why I'm anxious. And like labeling my emotions really helps. Even speaking them out loud. That's why it's great to have somebody you can bounce that off of, whether that be a manager, an advisor, just a friend or family member. I think troubles are amplified when they're just in our head, right? And so that really helps me. Again, I joked about like therapy. I'll talk about work in therapy, and she really helps ground me and come back to the concept of boundaries, because that's been a huge growing area for me, as I was totally boundaryless for years in the business, and that just kept hitting me in so many ways, negatively. And so I think, that all of those things really help me get through the bad times. And sometimes it literally taking a break, walking away. I mean, I have literally flung my phone before, and I've had to go walk out there and cried because somebody, like an employee is just being a psycho, and my manager's like, Stephanie, stop typing right now.
Right.
So just take a breather. Just take a breather.
Yeah. So you're preparing yourself differently, so you're not so reactionary.
Correct.
Right. It sounds like, I think that's, that's a massive growth thing. And you mentioned boundaries, which is like, I talk about this regularly with my clients and stuff as well. And my leadership team. It's like, hey, like we can be kind, but
Correct.
we need to draw some stronger boundaries there. And so I'd love to hear you talk about, because it's such a buzzword. People talk about boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. But how would you operationalize boundaries for yourself when it comes to your business or your emotions, right? Like checking your emotions. How do you operationalize that to make sure you're staying where you need to stay healthy as a leader?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember, what boundaries are versus I think a lot of people confuse what that word even means or think like, oh, if I give them an ultimatum or a punishment almost, is a lot of people see boundaries as a punishment, where really a boundary is just how am I going to react in any given situation, right? And I am going to do XYZ if this occurs, right? So it's
Right.
kind of a consequence, but not really, I feel. It's like just saying how I'm going to react when things like that happen. So luckily I have a fantastic, my managers, I mean, they're almost all like mothers to me. It's a very weird dynamic because they are all older than me and they've grown with me and the business. And so I have a very unique setup in that manner where they know me like they were my sisters, and we have the same core values. They are so intrinsically right on the same page when it comes to what we're trying to do here. And so they have been integral in enforcing boundaries because, I mean, jokingly, it's always been said, Stephanie is not allowed to talk to customers anymore or pick up the phone because we will be re-roofing houses, we'll be cleaning gutters, we'll be painting apartments because
She'll say yes to everything. She'll sell
I'm a
it
yes
all.
man because that's what worked in the beginning. That's what I had to do, but that doesn't work anymore, right? That actually hurts us. And so sometimes reflecting on the things that I've had to change about myself or how I even operate in the beginning, that's not going to fly at this size, right? And so I think when you mention operational, I think just putting policies in place where then no matter what, well, we follow policies and we are, and the only reason we change policies is if everybody is in agreement and this is coming from a place of calm decision making, not emotional reactivity. For example, we don't do pay advances. We don't do, different things or just, employees asking for, they'll ask for things. They'll ask for inappropriate things potentially, and they're going to shoot their shot. And if we actually have a no immediate family member rule. We won't hire immediate family members. And a lot of people, their whole company is built on sisters and cousins or whatever, spouses. That's very common. And we actually got, burned with that in multiple iterations. Doesn't mean that we're not possibly missing out on great staff because of it, but the negative experiences we've had when something goes south with one of them, it typically, and then we're out 2 staff members, right? Or they carpool or whatever. And so the policy is we don't do this. And actually, my brother was looking for like part-time work and I was like, oh my gosh, my brother. And my manager was like, Stephanie, that's against policy. And I'm like, oh.
Right. Can I break it? I'm the owner.
Yeah. And we're really big on, I guess the thought experiment of if we added X amount of employees, would this thing break? Or if we behaved this way with one employee, what would happen if we acted like that with all of them? That is something we constantly run our minds through. Or if one knew that we were doing it with this one, what would that reaction be like? Is it fair? Right. And so we really try to think that through every time of like, well, we wouldn't do this for everybody. So why are we making this exception for this person? It's not right. Right. And integrity is one of our other core values, and grateful and positive attitude is the final, if you guys wanted to know. But so for us, acting in integrity is being fair to everybody. And that means holding us to not making exceptions because we feel bad. And it's really hard when you've got a big old heart and you just want to help everybody, right? I've had employees living with me and their chihuahuas pissing all over my house. That happened in the first year of business. And then she ghosted me. No boundaries.
Right. To look at you now, I'm gonna share this podcast with my staff specifically because it's really good because we are a person first company, but it gets sticky and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, no, like we can't know that. And I know these things, but the way you just described it is so good. It's like, what do we do this for everybody? So thank you for that. This is going to be helpful to me with my leadership. Gosh, time is flying. I'm like, I have so many things I want to ask. But we have to hang out in real life too. So anyway, let me ask you this. So you've got multiple things going on. You're wearing multiple hats. We've touched upon that, obviously. as you get busier, as you get more successful, you got more opportunities coming your way, right? I
Mhm.
mean, that's just the nature of success in a lot of ways. It's very cool, but then it can be like, holy cow, like, what do I
Yeah.
do? So, what filters, or do you have any filters that you personally, Stephanie, use to make decisions, to say
Mhm.
yes to certain things or no to others?
I think that I try to do I'm really big on the concept of opportunity cost of if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? And that I could be saying no to just like my personal health or energy, right? And so I really have to take that into account. And like you said, like this is all like this is all brand new to me too. It feels like we're speaking opportunities are coming out, or I'm being asked to do these different projects. And because of what I just described, Stephanie's a yes man, or
Yeah.
previously known as a yes woman,
Yeah.
but like we're working on it, right? And so it's very hard for me to say no to things. And so I'm really trying to flex that muscle and saying no to smaller things, even of like, this just doesn't align with what I'm looking for. And a lot of times, I'm really big on time blocking because, I have ADHD as well, if you can't tell, but like, so it's,
I can't, but
I really need to, like, if you look at my calendar, it's like, okay, these are like, I try to batch things as much as possible. So I'm not
yes.
task switching and
Yeah.
losing that energy there. So when it comes to like opportunities, it's like, okay, if I do this, like that means like financially, these other things could possibly be affected. Energy wise, it's going to definitely affect me because I have to travel. I have to, get my pet watcher, whatever. Like there's all
Right.
of these other things I have to take into mind. So honestly, I'm probably like, I'm still working on it because this is all quite new to me. And unfortunately, I'm just like an excitable person. Everything sounds so exciting. So I'm trying to be slow with decisions, not just say yes right away, because that's going to be my gut is going to be wrong because my gut says say yes to everything. Right. And
Right.
so, I mean, literally like getting the facts. I mean, I'm dating right now. Guess what? Guess who has a spreadsheet? Guess who has a KPI tracker for dating?
Are you kidding me? What's on that? Tell
I
us
hope the
what's
men
on
aren't
that.
listening, but like,
What's
but
on
because
that?
I need the facts of the matter, and then my managers can all chime in and stuff because it's like, okay, my gut's gonna be wrong sometimes, so we need to get the facts there.
I love that. That's amazing. No, I think we're similar in that way because I am very excitable and I'm like, that sounds so fun. Yes, I'm gonna fly there. Yes, I'm gonna do that. Yes, I'm gonna do that. And I realized that and my filter honestly
Mhm.
used to be fun. Like that was my
Mm,
I was like, that sounds fun. Like I'm in.
yes.
And I created all kinds of freedom in my business and money, make like high profits. And I was like, yes, yes, I'm gonna do this. And then I almost got to a place of having too much fun.
Mm,
And which sounds kind of crazy because I'm a fun first kind of person, but I was like,
yep.
I just need to like I also need to be home. I need to like have my feet on the ground a little bit more
Yeah.
rather than in airplanes. Like I see people who are I talked to somebody at a conference this past week and I think he was doing 120 flights this year. And I
I
was like,
literally could, oh, gosh.
right?
And you bring up a good point is like I pour a lot of energy into my space and having as peaceful and beautiful as of a home. It's very
Right.
important to me. That this is like I am a weirdly homebody, so I have some place to come back to. And so too much travel, it's incredibly draining to me. I don't particularly care for like the getting there part, just the
Right.
and
Who
and like you
does?
and the fun. Like I'm a pretty impulsive, yeah, like sounds fun, let's do it. But that can be very detrimental without boundaries with yourself of like, yeah,
Right.
let's go close the bar down and sing karaoke because Stephanie will be there. But then that's not always good for you gotta almost parent yourself. Like, no,
Yes.
Stephanie, go to bed.
Yes, exactly. I know. It's so funny because now I go to these conferences. I'm like, okay, like I'm being an adult. This is
Yeah.
amazing. And I'm like not 30. I'm 20 years older than you are. And I'm like, I'm finally getting it. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you're getting it younger. That's good. That's good. That's awesome. All right. I've got just a
Yeah.
couple fast more questions for you. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, I got, yeah, I'm good on time. Mhm.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So, how I want to talk to you about your leadership because
Mhm.
you have really developed yourself. Do you look to any particular mentors out there? I mean, like you mentioned Dan Martell, like, and
Mhm.
I get mentorship through books. Like
Yep.
like Mike Michalowicz was with Profit First, a mentor through a book, right?
Mhm.
And I actually got to meet him last summer, which was
That's
amazing.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
got to tell him, and he was like, "Oh my God, can I
No,
help you?" I
I
was like,
have to meet
"Yeah,
this man because yeah,
yeah,
he literally, I mean,
Yeah.
that's from day one, profit first from day one. And so books, 100%. I listen to so many books. And in the beginning, that's what I truly attest, me listening to books while I was cleaning about leadership, about business, instead of like crime podcasts or whatever, like no
Right.
shade, right? But listen to books, guys.
Right. Totally. Or podcasts like the
Or-
Filthy Rich
Or
podcast or the
podcasts, yeah, exactly. There is curse words, so listen only while you're cleaning. And so it's funny, my grandma, she listens to my podcast. I just found that out this weekend. She's like, Steffi, I don't like the F word. I'm like, oh, grandma, I'll stop swearing for you, maybe. But I would say, I watch, controversial as they may be potentially, Alex and Layla Hermosi, I do get a lot of great ideas from them. Layla in particular, as a woman leader, like I have gotten so much from her, especially about kind of removing that, like, I'm a very, intuitive, emotional, like I said, loving person. And so I need to be boundaried with that. And so I really like her content. Even I'm listening to a book, Feel Good Productivity. That's a great one. I'm really enjoying, based on kind of that concept that we're talking about of like, how do we do all of these things and enjoy ourselves? So yeah, I would say, my leadership style now, I am very lucky that my management team does not need a lot of, I can't tell you if I've ever they've never been in trouble or anything. They're just very responsible. But a lot of times I have found, like, I've been really proud of myself in this past year by being able to give them that leadership when it's most important, meaning speaking life into them, speaking positivity. And like I'm a hype girl, I'm a cheerleader, and it's like I can make anybody feel like, no, I fucking got this. And I truly believe that anybody can have that energy, but sometimes you need somebody else to speak it into you, so you start believing in it and looking at your actions as proof, right? And so I would say just, yeah, really just happy, positive, very, like, I want to know about them. I want to know about their lives, and just whoever's in front of you, just give your full attention to, right? And then when it comes to, like, for example, this past summer, we had a theft situation with a 4-year long employee. Totally rocked us to our core. I mean, we're all just like, how could this happen, right? And she stole a wallet from a church. like, who really's watching? Like,
right. No kidding.
and so she had to get fired, right? And like literally my managers are like, the schedule is just fucked. We're like, this is a full-time commercial cleaner. Like, this is going to be so bad this is bad.
Right.
And for me to come in and being like, we better close the fucking business down if we're not willing to do this, because this is line in the sand, integrity. This cannot be. And it's not that my managers didn't want that to happen. They were just dreading the effects of it, right?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. And so me just naming, okay. And so, again, controversial. Jordan Peterson actually has a concept where you kind of write, like, what would life be like if it was hell for you? What would the hell be of your life? And so I kind of, like, riffing off of that, of like, the hell for my business would be my reputation is sullied because we allowed somebody who stole to stay on, and the entire team seeing it, and I lose the respect of my entire team by one decision. You can't come back from that. And like, I know that sounds kind of dramatic, but I think it's important to dramatize, like, when we're talking about things like that, because it's like, that's how bad it could be. That would be hell. So it makes it very easy. It wasn't easy, but it was simple. Knew exactly what needed to be done.
She's
right?
got to go.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, that's good for you. You're leading by example too. You're like, oh yeah, like, we're not gonna. I'll go clean this commercial account if I have to go clean this commercial account, because that person is not allowed on our premises anymore.
Yep. I flew up in August and I cleaned for like a week. So yeah.
Wow. I mean, hear that. That's amazing. You got this big company. You've got all these other things going on, and that's what you did. I mean, talk about like leadership in action. That's really.
I think they needed me there. And it was just my management team. They were so burnt out, and I'm really cognizant of life balance for them too. It's a reason we don't take late night commercial on anymore. Like, we won't, because when something goes wrong, I'm really big on, think of the worst thing that could happen in this situation, and we need to plan for it, right? So with late night commercial, who's fucking cleaning it if they call in or whatever?
Totally.
So just don't do it. Yeah.
Right. No, that is one of the reasons I sold the commercial side of my business several years ago, before I knew some of the stuff. And I was like, like if someone calls in sick, like that school has to get cleaned, and I'm like the third level of the death,
Backup,
but it could get to there. And I was like, no, like, so anyway, gosh, Stephanie, well, thank you so much. This has been so fun. I've got two final questions before I get to the last, two finals. First of all, where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So serene-clean.com/consulting services. If you are ever interested in booking a call with me, I'm very relaxed in what that looks like. I like consulting. I like when you come at me and I rapid fire, let's just answer questions. That's kind of my style, as opposed to maybe a more structured coaching program. I also have bundles of all of our templates that we've used in Serene Clean to build the business. And so those are available. My customer relations manager, Katie, is actually doing calls, setting up our ClickUp and showing you guys how we do our ClickUp, which is where we do all of our lead management, tons of automations and stuff. So if that's something anybody's interested in. And then on the other side of things, all of ZenMaid's social medias, ZenMaid's YouTube channel, Facebook, the ZenMaid Mastermind, that is where Filthy Rich Cleaners is hosted. So if you either search ZenMaid or Filthy Rich Cleaners on any podcast listening or on YouTube, that is where you can find me hanging out. And then on Facebook, myself, Stephanie from Serene Clean.
All right. Awesome. We'll put all that in the show notes as well. So fantastic, Stephanie. All right. Last but not least, do you feel like this fantastic, bright AF life that you've created has been by luck or by design?
Ooh, by design. I believe, it's funny. My parents always said I had a horseshoe up my ass, frankly, and that I'm a very lucky person, but I disagree. I think that luck can bring you opportunities, but preparedness and design is what allows you to take those opportunities. And so I feel very blessed in that things always work out exactly as they're supposed to be. And so, yeah, absolutely by design. I have a lot of privilege. I'm very blessed in a lot of ways. However, I know the work that went into this.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Stephanie. That's it for the Live Bright Show. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And make sure you go check Stephanie out everywhere she is. That's a wrap.
And that's it for today. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Live Bright Show. If you enjoyed this pod, please go to livebrightshow.com to be in the know for new program offerings and podcast releases. Molly has more awesome guests and content coming your way, so you're going to want to be on that list. Also, just because you're still listening, it would be incredible if you could go ahead and subscribe to this podcast and provide the show with a 5-star review. You know how they help. Go forth, have fun, and live bright, friends.